And Tanner, what did you pick this week?
I picked the 2018 World War II zombies film, Overlord. Overlord, we join our Private Boyce, a soldier in World War II. It is D-Day. He is parachuting in. He and his crew have to go destroy a radio tower. They all get fucked up, and there's only 4 of them left. And then hijinks ensue, and they discover that the radio tower is also a secret Nazi lab creating super Nazi zombies, basically. And they have to destroy it, and they do. The end. There's also French people in it. Fun fact, this movie doesn't have any swastikas in it.
Huh. I don't think I noticed that, but
yeah. I didn't notice that either.
Which is crazy. I feel like that is something I would have noticed, but...
Yeah, they just did a good job with the outfit design. I guess we never really would have paid attention.
I think they just used the eagle in place of it everywhere you would really expect it.
They did use the eagle. That's exactly what it...
A World War II movie where they don't have any swastikas, a black male lead, a cool female character, and they hate on Nazis. Seems a little woke for my liking.
This movie suffers from what I'd like to coin the Cloverfield effect, where it kind of feels like, if you guys remember my Cloverfield review, it felt like everything was very on rails for the most part. It kind of felt like you're sitting in one of those like horror movie booths at like an arcade, and you're like, you know, playing a fucking game and you're watching something and things just kind of happen all very quickly. It's a very fast-paced movie, which I don't think helps it, and a lot of the setups of some of the situations don't seem super natural to me, and because of that, it kind of just felt like we're just like on a fucking roller coaster going through the motions of stuff for the most part. Not to really knock the film down that much. I think the sound design behind this film is really well done. I think the acting is pretty solid overall. The set is really cool. I like the general idea of it as well. There's a lot of intrigue you can garner just from stuff, and then of course builds upon that to a very flashy conclusion. It was a very entertaining film, but yeah, it definitely has that very unnatural feeling to it for me.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the premise is concerned, this film was definitely pitched as like World War II, but zombies, and like they really aren't that involved in the film. No. Like this film was definitely like 80% World War II movie, 20% zombies, and I definitely would have liked it if that they cranked up that percentage a lot more. Because as it stands, it's just like pretty normal World War II movie.
Going into it blind, I don't think that's an issue at all.
Okay.
I was going to disagree with the point Jackson was just making until he mentioned the scenarios being contrived, and I just went, oh yeah, I did think that the way Boyce ends up in the lab is like, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
And then he just wanders around like he's some character in a fucking horror game. It's like, oh, what's this? Oh, that's weird, interesting. Oh, what's that? Oh, let me hide for a second and overhear this conversation that gives me exactly what's going on here.
Yeah. So that very specifically, yeah, I agree with you there. I don't think the pacing specifically was an issue for me. I really like this movie, obviously. I think it's a romp. For one thing I want to shout out is that opening sequence I think is fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, that shit was fire, dude.
Yeah, it was very good.
It very much, I imagine the way it went when the director was like pitching how they were going to make that scene is he was like, I want to do basically the paratroopers version of Saving Private Ryan's D-Day scene. Like, I imagine he very much was like, I want to just do a super hardcore, violent rendition, but it's the air portion of, like, the Saving Private Ryan land invasion, you know? But yeah, that's great. Very intense. When he jumps out of the plane and we're the camera here with him and we're tumbling and you're just seeing all this shit going off in the background. I think that's pretty cool. So World War II, but zombies is like an established trope, not just in movies, but fucking video games, books. Like, it's a thing. And I like how this one differs from a lot of that other stuff by trying to play it as straight as possible. Because a lot of times, like World War II but Zombies is very much played for laughs or goofy or like very over the top gory and whatever, and I feel like this doesn't do that. I think, to give it a negative, and I think my biggest negative with this movie, it is insanely tropey. Like,
Oh yeah.
especially with the characters, like every trope you could fucking imagine for a World War II movie is in here. And I understand why they did it, because they're like, oh, listen, we're doing the weird zombie thing, so maybe we should, rely on some tropey characters. That way we don't have to set up wholly unique characters while also having a unique scenario for the overall plot. But like Nico mentioned, the zombies don't play into it all that much, so it makes the tropiness of the characters stand out all the more, because for a huge chunk of it is just them in a normal World War II scenario, and so you're like, I've seen all of these characters in Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan, and a billion other World War II movies, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, the zombies only really serve a point to just make their mission have more value. It adds more stakes to it. Like, if the Nazis are allowed to continue with this operation, then shit really would hit the fan. So they have to stop it now. They're not really like, oh yeah, this is like a fucking movie. I guess I'm also going to give it some more knocks here. This is going to be a stupid statement, but I'm going to knock it for some realism parts. They're not being very quiet in this thinly made wooden European house in a village surrounded by a bunch of Nazis. They're making a ton of fucking noise.
Yeah,
Nobody
they like
ever
fire
really comes.
guns and shit throughout the
Yeah,
movie, and just no one comes to check that out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Not very subtle with it. I feel like people very quickly would have came over to investigate things, and they just don't. The whole fucking scene of like two dudes taking out the entire squadron of Nazis that come running at them when they're trying to be a distraction is fucking retarded. They should have been dead on like the very first time they were posted up on that hill, and like 10 times over while they're being chased by an entire fleet. And then of course in that scene too, I guess they just didn't really know how to make the inside scene work with our main character and the ultimate badass going in for the rescue of the kid and to blow up the place, because there's just like nobody else inside the facility. They all just fucking vanish. Presumably, I think the movie's trying to say because they all went out to go chase those two guys, they're gonna abandon the entire fucking facility. They're gonna let down two guys, except for like one doc that stays behind, and then the fucking guy that injects himself with a bunch of shit. Very stupid. I think they just didn't really know what to do with it, and it shows because it was very dumb. But I will still say this is a very entertaining movie for the most part. It's pretty stupid, but it has a good sound design. It's got entertaining characters and an interesting piece of set. So I do think it was an entertaining.
Mm-hmm. I also really like that scene with when they inject their friend who got shot by the German. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a neat scene and very kind of
telling of like the horror of like this experiment.
It has its own horror to it, where you're like, what the fuck is going on? This is our friend. He's still able to talk to us, but he's like, something's off here.
I do question why they weren't a little bit more harsh on the guy doing that to him. That's fucked up to just like randomly inject him with some shit, and then they all just kind of play it off like they just execute the guy after they basically revive him from the dead. Obviously, he's freaking the fuck out, and so it makes sense they'd have to kill him because he's a threat to them then. But like they don't really address it like at all. Like, little unnatural. It's not really that big of a deal, but it felt pretty unnatural.
I can kind of see that. Yeah, I could very much see them like having a conversation about where they come out the other end of the conversation being like, yeah, you know, I can understand why you would think it's worth a try in the moment. And they could walk away understanding why you did it, but yeah, definitely in the heat of the moment, they'd be like, what the fuck was that, dude?
Mm-hmm. I do like the scene of the guy, that they were torturing, breaking out and shooting the guy. I think that was cool. Mm-hmm. I do like that they had the balls to really not play with the lives. They will just fucking kill him off. Also, we haven't really talked about her, the big part of the movie, the fucking French chick that they're helping out. She's kind of, I don't really have a ton to say about her. She's kind of just like a weird character. I think it's a little strange how quickly she is to like accept the aid of these American guys. Like she literally just lets them into their home. Like 10 minutes into knowing them, basically. Obviously, we don't know how long they were in the forest for. But like they're holding her at fucking knife point basically, and they just let her into her home. If they get found out, she's fucking dead. Her entire family's dead. Why would she bring that risk? I don't understand. Like, obviously, they're fucking threatening her at knife point, but like, there's something she could do at least, you know, fucking call the Nazis on him, maybe. Like, obviously, I'm sure she fucking hates them vitriolically, but like, it seems like a lot of risk, and I don't know.
I don't find that all that realistic. You know, she, like, her village is under Nazi occupation and has been for a while now, and she knows that the Americans would be... Well, I guess I don't know if she has radio broadcasts or whatever, but presumably she'd be aware, oh, okay, American soldiers are here because they're going to fight and, you know, kick out the Nazis.
I feel like with a village that small, they probably would cut all away.
Probably.
I don't feel like that's a super...
But also, I don't think it's... That's why I added, like, it wouldn't be a leap for her to go, oh, these are American soldiers, I guess they're here to fight the Nazis.
Yeah. To give this film another negative here, the jump scares. I hated them. Fuck you, movie, for the jump scares. Like, I feel like those were real missed opportunities to just, like, build some more tension and, like, kind of add to, like, the, ooh, what exactly is going on here? Because, like, the two main portions of this that really stick out in my mind is when he like creeps up to like see what's going on with like the grandma or whatever, the aunt, whatever the fuck she is, and she just like fucking like pops at the door and then like that's it. We never fucking see her again throughout the rest of the film, when like, you know, we could have had it like, oh, like you just kind of like see her off in the background there, like maybe laying there like all emaciated and like, oh, what the fuck is going on with her? That's weird. And then like the girl pops up and is like, I told you she's sick. And then like also when he's like actually in the base, when he like fucking like looks through a hole to see what's going on with one of them zombies and it just pops up and it's like, oh, okay, sure. When like, you know, we could have had it like you just see like this hunched over figure like eating a person, like that would have been much more terrifying, I think.
Yeah, leave it a slight bit vaguer. Like it would have been much cooler if the headless girl was the first time that we really were like, oh, it's a zombie thing. But I guess this is, I got a question for you guys since you went into this not knowing it was like a zombie thing.
I mean, I knew.
Okay, then this is a question for Jackson. Did the noises they had the aunt making just completely like give away the plot like way early in the movie?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I legitimately thought she just had like some respiratory thing that made her not be able to breathe properly. Like she was definitely making some fucked up loud noises, and I obviously given you saying going into this blind, I assumed there was something more happening, but I didn't assume it was.
Gotcha. Okay, well that's good to know. I wasn't sure if because you know I have seen this one already, and so I was listening to the aunt. I was like, man, it seems really fucking obvious. It's like some sort of fucked up zombie or monster thing, but that's good to know that that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to say about this film?
No.
Dylan gave it an S. Bro liked this fucking movie.
He sure did.
He really liked it, even.
This shit went hard from Dylan. I'm not giving it nearly that high. I'm giving it a B+ personally. I still think it was a very entertaining movie. I think it's a romp. I'd watch it again. I think it'd be a fun movie to show to somebody else. It has a lot of issues, but you know, it's a fun, entertaining, rompy horror film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was initially going to give it a B+ as well. Like, we did talk about a lot more problems than I initially thought about when we watched this film, though. I'll still give it a B+.
Nice, and I'm one higher than you guys. I'm going an A-.
And that landed at an A overall. Dylan's S is fucking carrying there.